So today I'm going to tell you guys the history of the Aztecs as I know it. So the Aztecs were a tribe of Native Americans who came from a place called Aztlan. Previously, they were known as the Mexica. Then they became known to history as the Aztec because they come from Aztlan. So historians seem to believe that Aztlan is located in modern-day New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado. Somewhere in those four states in that area, that's Aztlan. So the Aztecs were a tribe that came from this place and they moved south. Now my theory has always been that the Aztecs are the Anasazi. They say the Anasazi moved south and built the pueblos, and that's why they're called the ancestral pueblos. But we have pueblos that were built prior to when the Anasazi left their empire and moved south. So I believe the Anasazi mixed with the pueblo and built more pueblos, the ones that we know to be built after they left, and they continued moving south. But don't quote me on that. Some historians will probably disagree, some will probably agree. That's just my theory, and that's what I've always thought. I've always thought that the Aztecs came from the Anasazi. But anyway, so the Aztecs were a tribe who came from a place north of Mexico called Aztlan. They ended up having some kind of prophecy or a dream. Now, I'm doing this off the top of my head, so if I get some things wrong or not perfectly correct, forgive me. But they had some kind of prophecy or dream that they had to move and that they weren't to stop until they saw an eagle perched on a cactus with a snake in its mouth. That's the symbol that's on the flag of Mexico. So this tribe, like a lost tribe, moved south all the way deep into the heart of Mexico. And on the lake of Lake Texcoco is where they found an island. And I guess that's where they saw the eagle perched on a cactus with a snake in its mouth. So they settled down there. So you gotta think of this. It's a tribe from way up north in the middle of Mexico. They're not from here. All the tribes around them are from there. You had the Tlaxcalans, you had the Toltecs, I don't know who else you had, but you had all these tribes, and the Aztecs were from not from around there. So what they started doing is they would work for this tribe, fighting wars and capturing prisoners against this side. See, the way of battle for the Aztecs, they weren't battling to kill. They were battling to injure and capture so they could take to their pyramids and sacrifice them to the sun god so the sun could stay shining. So they weren't going into battle to kill. They're going into battle to wound and to capture. So the Aztecs, the Mexica tribe, the lost tribe, they worked for these people, and they would be kind of like sow swords, I guess you could say. So they would work for this tribe, fighting their wars. Then they would work for this tribe, fighting their wars. This tribe, fighting their wars. And before you know it, they made enemies out of all of the tribes in the surrounding region. So they were stuck on their little island in Texcoco all alone with enemies all around them. Then they started making homemade islands to make their island bigger. They made their island bigger. They made bridges, and they made the empire. They made the city of Tenochtitlan. It was an island with pyramids and a group of people living there. They had at least 250,000 people living there. There was bridges that led to the mainland, and from there they became a huge ass tribe, and they became an empire, subduing all the nations around them that hated them. And they ruled from the east coast to the west coast, all of that part of Mexico. They were the Mexica. That's why it was the land of Mexico, named after them, because they dominated the land. So this tribe, a lost tribe who came from Aztlan, the middle of nowhere, somewhere up north, up here around where we're at right now, went south, settled in Mexico, made enemies out of everybody, and eventually conquered everybody and became the strongest empire in the civilization. Now at this time, at the height of the civilization, about 100 years passed, and that's when Cortez came and conquered the Aztecs. See, like I said, they had made enemies of all the tribes around, and so it was easy for Cortez to make allies out of their enemies, and all of them allies came and conquered Mexico. A side note, not all the tribes were the Aztecs' enemies. The famous Tlaxcalans, who built most of downtown Santa Fe in the early 1600s, who came up with the Oñate expedition, they fought for the Aztecs. They had a big battle with Cortez, but like I said, they went to battle to capture. The Spaniards went to battle to kill. So when they battled the Spaniards and seen that they were just slaughtering, their dogs were sicking them, they were trampling with their horses, spears, swords, they were getting slaughtered. They seen that the Spaniards were there to kill, and so after that battle, they changed their mind and they switched sides. So now they became the Spanish allies, and they helped take down the Aztecs. The Tlaxcalans also built downtown Santa Fe. They built the oldest house, the oldest church. Anyway, That's the story of the Aztecs as I know it. They were like a lost tribe who came from somewhere up north in a place they called Aztlan, and they moved all the way into the heart of Mexico, made enemies out of everybody, and then dominated everybody. Well, this is Tragedy. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something new. I'm out.